All right, well, you guys are coming with me all the way to Mickey D's, tonight, right? And we're talking about, 2 miles, all the way down. It's actually not that, you know, it's kind of a long walk. Signing up for some, midnight, walking through the drive-thru, making fun of McDonald's and talking about Donald Trump and stuff. I already told them I was going to come back later and make fun of them and things, so it's not the most horrible thing ever. I probably won't get kicked out or the cops called on me. They'll be like, it was that guy from the other night in the drive-thru. It's the YouTuber, that wants to be famous and loves Miley Cyrus or whatever. Seriously, this is a conversation they're going to have. No, you don't have to call the cops on him. It doesn't matter if he has like a dagger and he's walking around. He's not at a bar or he's not at a church and he's not at one of the places he's not supposed to be. Yeah. In Texas, oh, Manasima. Yeah. In Texas, you can have any blade you want, basically. You can walk around with, like, Deadpool, with 4 samurai swords on your back. But, first of all, you have to get the swords. But, you also have to know the law, there's a 5-inch law, okay? So if you have a sword or a blade or a dagger, or any blade longer than 5 inches or at least 5 inches long, there's a whole list of places you can't go. Actually, it's kind of difficult, believe it or not. And it's kind of weird, the places they have picked out. It's not necessarily what you think it is. There's certain places you can go with a katana, like any restaurant, any McDonald's, you can go up to any McDonald's with like 4 katanas, it's lawful. Texas is pretty cool for that. I like that. It makes sense to me as somebody that doesn't believe in firearms, really. I don't really think I lose the fight against firearms, really, most of the time, unless it's the 5-0 and they're supposed to take me out, against the wicked souls, I really don't think I lose the firearms fight, really. So, up in this, and then, I can always have, like, ranged attacks, with, it's horrible, actually. I would love to live my whole life, like ranged attacks with a dagger or throwing knives or whatever. Take out a perpetrator with a pistol. I'd love to live my whole life without ever drawing blood. Actually, my way is that you choke them out and you save the day. Totally. If something's happening, the best thing to do is actually to choke them out because you save their lives and everybody else's. And then they get to see justice on earth. That's kind of what people want a lot of times. Them for getting locked up and going to the prison system.